What's going on, Eagles Nation? It's your boy Showtime 804, back at it like we never left. Remember, thank you all for who have subscribed, liked, comment on this page. Remember, keep telling a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend so we can continue to grow this channel here. We had a much needed bye week this week. Hopefully the team got a chance to refresh, get some guys healed up. And the coaching staff got to work on some things that's kind of plagued us so far with this year. The midseason analysis is definitely one we can look back on. 2020 has been frustrating as a whole, especially from a sports aspect. A lot of off-season programs were canceled due to the pandemic going on. So our record is possibly a reflection of that. Guys weren't able to work with the trainers the way they needed to, fine-tune some things on the football field. We had a lot of new pieces coming in, especially on offense. And it took some time for us to get to gel and to work on those things. But, the future is definitely promising. Finding those key acquisitions, such as a Travis Fulgham. Expect huge things out of the guy. Hopefully they can get his contract situation squared away. Being with the cap predicament that we're in, I don't see him commanding the type of money in that upper echelon of receivers. It's just something about it. I don't think he has an accrued amount of years of service or years playing, so he can get that 20 million range. Hopefully we'll never have to pay him that. I mean, it's good to have a player of that caliber, but you don't want to have to start breaking the bank. The most frustrating thing so far this year has been quarterback play, as well as the play calling for Doug Peterson. Now, a lot of fans, including myself, we complained so much about Mike Groh and how the offense was stagnant under his direction as the offensive coordinator after we lost, Frank Reich, and then the quarterback play with quarterback coach John DeFilippo. I thought that was a big arrogant move from Doug Peterson in order to lose both of those coaches. You never want to lose that many key pieces to your offensive team, especially in one offseason. And it almost looked like Doug was pretty much trying to showboat. I put this thing together. This is all me. And in actuality, we're seeing it unravel at the helm, that it wasn't all Doug Peterson. And like I said, with the whole Mike Groh thing, myself included, a lot of fans, we blame Mike Groh for the shortcomings of this offense. Mike Groh is gone, and the offense has gotten worse. So it really now shows its ugly head that Doug is clearly the problem. Looking at it, I think Doug is having some issues where he can't let go of the pass. And what I mean by that is, he's trying to live his highlights or his wonder years through Carson Wentz, and that's not fair to Carson Wentz because that's not who he is. That 2017 it just looks like it's just so far away from Carson. Even last year, the way he was able to take care of the football, and he played better when the reads and everything else, the playbook was more condensed. We didn't take a lot of shots downfield, so he was he was much more careful with the football than he is this year, where now Doug, everything dialing up is down the field, 20 yards down the field. Like, you go back to that 4th and 3 play against Dallas last week when we have Rager and Ward in the middle of the field, and it seemed like they're both wide open. But if you look at the still shots, Carson's eyes aren't there. His eyes are down the field, anticipating that there's somebody that's where the route's supposed to go. And I have a big problem with that. On 4th and 3, you shouldn't have anything developing downfield, nothing. And it's just one thing that I wish that we could do what other teams do to us. Whenever we face other teams in those short yards distance, and they don't run the ball, what do we get beat with? Quick slants. It never fails. We're always getting beat with quick slants. And for the love of me, I don't understand why we don't incorporate that into our offense. Same thing goes on defense. Time and time again, we see Carson getting passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage, but yet we don't knock any passes down at the line of scrimmage, especially for as aggressive as our defensive front is. And it's just troubling as a fan because, again, we see this watching from our TVs. Why can't the coaches see this? I mean, the coaches, you got coaches on the field, coaches in the box. Somebody has to be able to relay this message to somebody. Another big blow that we lost, Josh McCown. I really wish that he was able to be on the sideline this year. You can also see that helped Carson a lot as far as his productivity on the field, losing that voice in his ear, because when we see it in game action, when Carson makes a mistake, he only has Nate Sudfeld to talk to. And when I get back to that point with Doug Peterson reliving his years, because that's what Andy Reid had him do to Donovan McNabb. When McNabb in the early part of his career made mistakes, Andy Reid didn't go over and talk to Donovan McNabb. Doug Peterson was there. And the same thing when Doug Peterson was in Green Bay. He went to talk to Brett Favre. So we're seeing the same kind of thing and the same history repeating itself, and it's not good. Nate Sudfeld isn't a guy who took a lot of snaps. I only think the only action he's ever seen meaningful in games was against the Redskins. The Washington football team back in the end of 2018 when Nick Foles got hurt. So we need more than just Nate Sudfeld talking to your $100 million franchise quarterback. We need Press Taylor out of that both. Put him on the field. He needs to be on the sideline so that way you can see when he makes a mistake, his quarterback coach is right there, not talking to him on a phone call. You need to be able to look into his eyes and see what he's seeing. You talking from a phone call, he can tune you out because he's not there to receive your presence or what you're trying to convey your point to him. Let's see what else we got to talk about. This with the front office and Howie Roseman, his construction of this roster, it's just too much of a wait and see. We're gonna wait till this guy gets off of injury reserve to see what we need to do. Let's hope and see if this guy's injury isn't too serious so before we make a move. And now we're stuck in these same predicaments where we're holding on to a broken down Alshon Jeffrey because we wanted to hope and see how he was going to return from that serious injury. If we're going to waste money to play him, we should have just cut him and been done with it and not try to, hold something together with glue and Band-Aids. The receiving group is not good. It wasn't good, should I say, coming into the season. And we were just hoping, waiting. Let's hope Deshaun Jackson is healthy this year. Let's hope Alshon Jeffrey can get back to form. We were hoping that JJ wasn't a bust pick, instead of being proactive on some of these situations. And I'm also looking at the way our offense is working now, that Doug pretty much constructed our offense on a lot of 12 personnel. And we haven't had 12 personnel all year. When we had both of those tight ends on the field at the same time, Goddard was flourishing and Zach Ertz was just a shell of himself. And then Goddard went down. Zach Ertz still didn't return to form. And Richard Rodgers kind of stepped up. So it's just like, I think we just need one tight end on the field because we brought in a lot of speed. Let those guys do what they need to do. Defensively, Jim Schwartz has taken a big step up from last year and years past. It's amazing to see what happens once he gets a good cornerback with some, a higher skill set that he can leave on the island. We're not seeing a lot of zone this year. And that's because we haven't faced a lot of mobile quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is probably the most mobile quarterback we faced so far this year. Now that's about to change. Going up against Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson in the later part of the year. So we're going to have to change that scheme up a little bit. But we do need to stop the single high safety. Just give some different looks. And just get rid of Jalen Mills at safety. It's not working. And again, like I said, this is all a result from no offseason. We kind of had him try to change positions on the fly with no meaningful offseason. So that was a mistake all its own. Like I said, with those mobile quarterbacks coming up, we definitely need to see what our rookie linebackers are doing, what they're going to work with on the field, because we're going to need to possibly spy with Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. Those guys will take off and run, so that's what we need, the speed from Davion Taylor. This is a third-round pick that, he's seen minimal time on the field. I don't even think he's played a lot of special teams. But the pass rush, is everything but we expected. We do expect more. It's just that they got to tune up some things about, you know, just too aggressive. That I don't like that philosophy. You're gonna stop the run on the way to the quarterback, and that philosophy is what's getting us beat with a lot of end arounds and misdirections. But not too much to complain about the defense. Like I said, we've had our spells, and it just looks like the world has changed since Nate Gerry has went on IR. Hopefully, you know, I don't wish injuries on players, but if Nate Gerry has to be shut down for the rest of the year, then so be it. If it means our football team will progress. You know, we didn't make any moves at the trade deadline, which was kind of expected because Howie put us in a bad predicament with this cap space. And we're going to probably have to restructure the whole team. And that's going to put a damper on things in the future as well, because eventually you have to pay that money. You can't keep rolling over contracts and restructuring. So it's going to put us in a bigger hole further down the line. But I kind of prefer that than to have to gut the entire team and try to rebuild that way. But some of those Asian players, they just have to go. Jason Peters, we need him off our books. Deshaun Jackson, as much as I love what he's done for the team, Alshon Jeffrey, those guys got to go. Trade Zach Ertz. I see Brandon Brooks possibly restructuring a big chunk of money, just because he's also been faced with the injury tag. You know, the last couple of years he's been with the team. He's missed some significant time. I see Fletcher Cox possibly, you know, redoing a deal just to bring his cap number down. There's going to be some things to work on, and that's Howie's specialty, redoing those contracts, making sure that we can have a functional team. But I don't want him evaluating talent, because we see too many guys just sitting and wasting away on the practice squad, and then they finally get their chance to play, and you're looking at it like, why hasn't this guy been playing? Elijah Holyfield, it's amazing to see, you know, when is he actually going to see the field, because it looks like also Doug runs his team out of fear for the most. He doesn't want certain guys to get hurt. So, you know, if you look at the Dallas game, Boston Scott was on the way to having a career day, but Doug, you know, kind of held up the reins a little bit and didn't want him to run as much because out of fear of getting injured, because he is a smaller back, and he at the time he was your only good back. And I fear that the same thing's going to happen with Miles Sanders. Right when it's starting to get cold, we need a bigger running back that we can lean on to run that 4-minute drill. And it's not Corey Clement. Corey Clement's best days are gone. His best day was actually Super Bowl 52, and that's fine with that. He was an undrafted rookie for a reason. And it's just time to move on. So we just need to see what those guys on the team what we have out of them. You know, the Michael Warren, Elijah Holyfield. Again, like I said, just stop trying to recreate different players. You know, we want to bring in Adrian Killins to be our next Darren Sproles. There's too much pressure on him. Just let him be Adrian Killins. But I think we just waived him today to bring back Isaac Seumalo off of the injury reserve. Like I said, with this team where we are now, it's not nothing to be happy about, but thankfully the rest of the division is terrible. So we do have something that we need. We have some things that we can work towards. And we got to get those fixed, because if we plan on making some moves in the playoffs or advancing in the playoffs, it's not going to happen, not the way that we're playing right now. And I'm also seeing some things about the way they're trying to reconfigure the playoff structure, which would allow an additional team to go to the playoffs, and then it's going to be based off of records. So we would not get to host a playoff game. But that's just up in the air, so it's just all speculation, so it's nothing at the moment. But it was good to get back out here and talk to you guys again. Try to bust out a couple of more videos. You know, just be patient with me. It's still a work in progress. But always support these Eagles. We got the Giants this week coming up. Hopefully we get a better result as to what happened the last time we played the Giants. We don't need to go in a double-digit hole again. Just go out here and just take care of business, one game at a time. This part of the year is actually where I prefer Doug Peterson. Once it gets cold, it's just Doug makes his time being out in the cold valuable. We don't see the same kind of mental mistakes from him once it gets cold. But, you know, we're going to keep doing what we do. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get out here and get this W.